Testing.
You think you know about relationships, but you're wrong. Listen, there's no magic bullet. I'm teaching life skills.
When you're sick, you need medicine. It don't always taste good, but it'll get you better. You need this medicine. It ain't gonna always taste good, but this is what you need, men and women. Control, but only if you know how to drive. This is about being the best you could ever be, whoever you are. I don't care if you're a man, a woman, LGBTQ, space aliens. I'll save anybody. I don't care. I'll teach a hedgehog how to have a threesome.
What do you mean by that?
Look, you don't have to listen to me, but you're wrong.
Listen, I know I'm great. And I know you're thinking, Dante, there's no way I can be like you. But you could be me, you know why?
Because you know who I was? Before I was me, I was you.
Man School 202.
Better hear what I've got to say because you won't get it again.
I'm not an alpha male. I'm not a beta male either. I'm just a better man. Put your happiness first, because if you don't, they won't.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Yo. Happy Sunday. GYBB, get your balls back. WWDD, what would Dante do? Sexual Revolutions being podcasted. And I am excited. It's good to be here. Happy Sunday. Yeah. Shout out to Xavier. Xavier sent the Cash App already. We are not playing. Xavier Corina sent the Cash App already. Thank you, Xavier. What's going on, baby? Good to be here. I'm waiting for everybody to come in. If y'all hear me good, please put a thumbs up in the comments. Thumbs up in the comments, please. Motorfolk in the building. Matt, all of these above in the building. Ahmed Al Najjar. What's going on? Ahmed, what time is it? What time is it where you at? Post it in the comments. Alex Hanner in the building. I just finished talking to Ahmed. Ahmed, in the comments, please put a big shout out. Big shout out to Ahmed. I don't want to tell his business, but I'm proud of that dude. I am. It's 4:13 a.m. Ahmed is in Dubai. Stayed up late to hear the show. That's dope. And I just want to say, everybody gives Ahmed a thumbs up because F Junka 86. Ahmed just got rid of his old battle axe. So big shouts out. Give him a fist bump for Ahmed getting rid of the old battle axe. Just lion ass funky hoe. I'm so proud of Ahmed. So proud of him. I'm so happy that he's, able to access, just able to access happiness in the way that he wants and not put up. One of the nicest guy, California 5 o'clock. Xavier in the building. Y'all, my people, man. Y'all make me, y'all gonna make me tear up. I appreciate y'all. 1:14 a.m. in London. What up? Ahmed is a soldier. He is. And everybody give Ahmed a fist bump or thumbs up in the comments, because we consulted. He had a really funky situation, one of the nicest guys in the building, and he stuck to what I was telling him, and he got out not unscathed, because we never get out unscathed. But man, I'm so proud of him. So proud of the fact that he stayed strong, and he maintained his credibility and his conviction, and and not to say nothing, but he did everything that he did everything he was supposed to do in the first place. He started out, he was upfront, he was honest, and he just had a chick just lied, just was dishonest and lied to him, and so I'm really shouts out to him. And her mama getting ready to get the business next, because she's a liar too. And I'm not saying that all mothers are that, or all women, but just his particular situation was real funky, and I'm just so proud of him. And I can't not think the fact that he listens to the show, and that even all the dudes in the comments, shout out to the dudes, everybody in the comments. Y'all, you feel, I know how you feel strength in the fact that we're all on this journey, just trying to be dope. And it's and the fact that we're on this journey is just really, really a dope situation. And I think it makes you stronger. It puts you in a situation more so where you can handle situations you wouldn't normally handle. And man, I love that. So big shout out to Ahmed, man. Give him a thumbs up, please. My man. Alex, what's going on in the building? What do I want to talk about today? There's always something on my mind, and I think what it's funny because one of my good friends in comedy called me up, and he was breaking up with his girlfriend, and sometimes we don't always appreciate the people around us. But I got a call from him, and he called me up and told me that he broke up with his girlfriend, right? And interesting thing, because his girlfriend initially was like super cool. He's a comic, she's a comic. And he just thought she was so cool because she was like, oh, I might be into this I might be into this PayPal. Shout out to Owen Isaacs. Owen Isaacs just sent me $5 on the PayPal. Thank you, y'all. Thank y'all for looking out and supporting me. Man, I love y'all, man. But my boy called me up, and his girl was like super cool. I remember when he met her, she seemed to be she was different. She was like, I might be interested in exploring threesome. And he was like, and he's my boy, so he's a piece of garbage. I don't mean that in the sense that he is honest, he's truthful, but he is a dirtbag. He's a freak. So he basically was like, yeah, sure. If you wanna explore these things, I'm sure we can do that. So she thought about this. She was thinking about a girlfriend of hers, and no, Lord Jamal and then they didn't have a fight. Lord Jamal just punked out and made all kinds of threats, nothing happened. So just keep that in mind. Babyface LaCosta. There was no physical, and there was no need to have any physical with Lord Jamal, because the reality was we were righteous at 100%. We didn't lie, we didn't misrepresent ourselves, and what's all this white stuff on my shirt? We didn't lie, we didn't make nothing up, and because we didn't lie, there was nothing to fight about. It was just like, I don't operate on a situation. I wouldn't drug nobody. I don't lie, and so you got nothing. So anything you saying Any accusation, I'm gonna either admit to it or I'm gonna just say you're lying. So there's, I'm at that place now. I mean, I'm always ready for the smoke in life, but just I'm a grown man. It's not necessary. I told the truth, and that's that. You decide. You decide who lies and misrepresents themselves, and you see people act in the same patterns. But I don't want to talk about that. So my boy calls me up. He goes, he says that the girl wanted to explore this whole threesome thing, and he was like, sure. He knows because he's been in the business, he knows a couple of porn stars. And he was with her. This is interesting. He was with her, and then he DM'd the young lady. He had relations with her before, and said, "Oh, my girl thinks you're hot." Right away, his girl starts panicking. She starts panicking. Well, why should it? So the girl sends back a smiley face and a heart, right? And in that heart and smiley face, his girl, who's hasn't had the same experience that he has, she starts panicking. What is it? That's all she said? Is that all she said? Blah, 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 blah. And the reason why that was because everybody on this live, everybody in the chat, we have all dealt with rejection from the opposite sex. Some of y'all have even experienced rejection from the same sex. I'm not getting into it. Whatever floats your boat. But rejection is something that is synonymous with being a man. You have to put yourself out there. And in the process, you putting yourself out there, you will have people reject you. That's just part of the game. You don't learn the game unless you play. In order to play, you got to suck at it. So just keep that in mind. And so she was panicking because she didn't get the response back from what she expected, because she thought, well, she's under the impression, well, I said my girl is, you told her that my girl is hot. She should be falling all over herself, right? And she didn't. But they have been going through fighting back and forth. Primarily, I mean, it was also kind of a hormonal thing, that situation. So she's probably a lot more sensitive than she would have normally been. And then a couple of days later, the girl who was a prospective threesome texts him back, basically kind of just following, hey, maybe we can hang out, such and such. So now they've been arguing all week. And he calls up and says, listen, the girl hit me back. And she goes, oh, are you communicating with this woman behind my back? What? Are you what? Am I communicating? You said you wanted to do the threesome. She hit me back. I was just openly telling you. I was open and honest about the fact that she hit me back. Oh, well, do you always talk to her, or do you always contact her So now, while he's making the attempt to be transparent, right? His girl is mad at him for the threesome that she asked him for, right? That he was doing the due diligence, that the girl that might have participated. So I don't like her and I don't find her attractive. And I just really think that this is how you get down, that you communicate with women behind my back. It was crazy. Crazy. Like, now, I'm going to tell you something. My friend who shall remain nameless, has had plenty of threesomes. Plenty. Semi-famous, or at least famous adjacent. Makes good money. He's got great game. He's a dude that puts himself out there. And that is right, babyface. This is why never do threesomes with your main chick. Because now it becomes a problem. It becomes a problem. What were you doing? How often do you talk to her? How do you this, da, 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 da. Now, mind you, when he initially texted her, oh, my girl, my girl thinks you're hot, was days later. It wasn't even like the girl hit right back, but she panicked because the girl initially didn't respond in a certain way, in a way that she thought that she should respond. And then because he was being transparent and actually told her that the girl contacted him, oh, now his loyalty is in question. How often does he talk to this girl, and does he always keep in contact with her? It's just a whole thing. And they end up he gets a little frustrated. He gets pissed off. And he says, look, I don't know what is going on here. I don't even understand. Like, she goes, now you're mad at me because I don't want to have the threesome with this girl. And he goes, no, that's not even the point. The point is this, that you're freaking out. You're making all these accusations about, you're making all these accusations that are not even true. Mind you, my friend didn't even mention threesomes. This was something because his girl, because they felt close. She felt close to him, and she had this desire to kind of be with women and kind of freak off a little bit. She set the whole thing up. How crazy. Now he's the victim. They end up breaking up. He calls me up. He goes, I don't know. Man, I broke up with my girl, this, that, and the other. And he starts telling me the whole story. And I said, well, you're not wrong. I tell him you're not wrong because you didn't do anything wrong. But your expectation was the fact that she was going to be able to deal with this in the same logical way that you would have dealt with it. That is what the problem is. The problem is that you thought because she was talking to you like an equal about this, that she was going to be able to be detached and deal with this in an equal way. And it just wasn't. You cannot listen to, look, don't get me wrong. I think you have to listen to what a woman says, but you have to validate that by her actions, by what her actions are. So if anybody is, anybody's in the chat or whatever, here's what, let me explain what's going on. She's usually a person who is in control of her life. Usually the guys she deals with is kind of loser dudes where she's the best deal in the relationship. And I believe she feels inadequate because, my boy is an established comic. He's got money. We got a call. Let me get into this. Let's see. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Lavi from Seattle.
What's up, Lottie? What's going on? How are you, brother?
I'm good. How are you, big dog?
How can I help you?
So I literally, the topic you're talking about with the threesomes, that's exactly why I called. So something similar. Currently, my girl, like, I could tell she's interested in girls. If, like, while we're having sex, like, we'll talk dirty, and I'll brought it up, and she'll bring it up.
Yeah.
And occasionally she'll bring up like that she wants to see me smash another chick.
Right.
But then it'll it'll transition from back to forth. So I really don't want to play into it too much. Not play into that, but like,
yeah, I get you.
if I was to set up
Because I get you, because you never know when she's gonna say, "Oh, so you really want this? You really?" Then all of a sudden, it's something her fantasy, because you happen to validate her fantasy. Now you're a horrible person. I get it.
Yeah, but I've been pretty good about like articulating like what it is, what I find attractive about it. Like, is I wouldn't even like it's what's attractive about it is her playing out her fantasy,
right?
And I mean, like me not even having to smash the girl, but just her like. So I'm like, I'll tell her like, you know, like if we were to do this, like don't even like I would. It's not worth me risking a great like a amazing relationship.
Absolutely.
For me to smash some other chick, like I would honestly just have them play around and me like just do what I need to do with her, and then she's just sort of like, I would say I was told her like the girl would be sort of just an extension of me.
Right. So,
but
usually you realize that's usually what the threesome is.
Yeah.
The outside person is sort of like the object. It's the, I mean, and the way I put it is, in some extent, it's the extension of, it would be like a dildo or a vibrator.
Exactly. That's like one of my favorite pieces of game I learned from Black Phillip was you guys were talking about how guys get insecure about toys, but really a toy is really just is an extension of you in her mind.
Yes.
Especially if you're the one like introducing it.
That's dope, because I haven't said that in a long time. It's a weird thing. It's like back in the days we used to talk about the Hitachi magic wand, right?
Yeah.
which now the Hitachi magic they make a cordless version now, right?
Yeah, I know that one.
Okay, and here's the thing: if you bring a Hitachi magic wand with your partner, right? Mm-hmm. She attributes it as an extension of you, like, oh wow, he's open-minded and he wanted to please me, and that although you gotta worry about the Hitachi magic wand can make somebody's clitoris desensitize them so that they can't come without it too. So you got to watch that too. But a woman is like, she'll, you know, I've had that situation where I've used a Hitachi magic wand and I literally had a girl just dump in the bed, just a puddle in the bed, right? Like we had to flip the mattress and nonsense. But they attribute that to you. It's about the intimacy of the connection of you in the session that you've had. You know what I mean? That you brought this in you. A guy will learn about the Hitachi magic wand, and then he will try it on every chick that he knows. You know?
Yeah.
He'll just be buzzing everybody's vagina. You know, like because it's the ego, but women kind of attributed it. And I don't say all, I mean, never, I'm not even, you know what? I'm not even going to do that. I was going to say not all women, but I just feel like it's redundant to say that. Everybody knows that I don't mean all women. But pervasively,
you don't need to get into semantics.
Right. Pervasively, if you're in a relationship, she attributes your sex life with her. Right?
Yeah.
Also, if you seem like you're enjoying the other person too much, you end up in an argument. Oh, yeah, you really? 100%. Yeah, you really? Blah, 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 you like blah, 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 right? So one of the things about one of the threesome rules is that everything you do has to be done to your girl first. The girl, and half the time, I would prefer in that situation, I would prefer my girl to get the girl. And if she doesn't,
you mean like hook up, like grab the number and stuff like that?
I mean, have the girl pick the person. Like, I would never say, yo, I know this chick, she rocks like that. Because then the question is, if you know you have access to this woman all the time, then how do I know you're not just stepping out on me whenever you know, well, like how do I know you don't have something special with her already? So the insecurity is serious. Whereas if the girl is into the girl, then and you don't know her personally, right? It gives a buffer between, you know, whatever her insecurities are. But I agree with you. I don't think it's worth it. I've had a young lady who was into threesomes and very much into women, and then every time we would have a threesome, it would be a problem. Like we'd have
Were
a
you
fight.
were you what's it called, smashing both of them, or was it just smashing
Yeah,
her?
it was all in. Like the other thing is I don't do that. I don't do that. Okay, this is off duty. This is off limits. You can't kiss. If I gotta go into this with all of these limitations, then I don't want to do it.
Fair enough.
I mean, I get how you could be like, oh, you want to play with her. I'd rather watch. I mean, that's fine if that's not what you want to do. But in one thing about let me put this in the perspective of great sex, right?
Yeah.
I think what makes great sex is spontaneity, right? You have everybody's got certain moves that they do, certain positions, certain things that they do. But nobody is a great Bob Mark. What up from Puerto Rico? My G, Bobby, what's going on? So everybody has this pool of things that you do, whatever that is, whatever techniques you have. But anytime somebody will tell me, yo, I'm a great lover, right? What they're really saying is I'm a great lover to the last person that I was fucking. Which means absolutely nothing for the new person you're having sex with, right?
Yeah, everybody's different.
Because every woman is different. The combinations are different. I mean, when I say that, I mean there are women who when you go down on them, do not like direct contact on the clitoris. Some women want contact underneath the clitoris. Some want it on top of the hood. Some want it little small circles around the hood. There can be any number of things that work for them. And what you have to do is you got to figure out what is most like what they like. And the only way you can do that, and this is what's crazy about this. This relates to laying the 5 bricks. When I say lay the 5 bricks and I say the compliment you have to pay has to be honest, right? Honest.
Yeah.
And it's because the honesty of giving a compliment means that you have to be present, right?
Yeah, being present in the moment.
You got to be in the moment.
Authentic.
If you're not in the moment, right? You're not present. You're just, okay, this is my, like you're picking stuff off of a Chinese menu and you're just throwing stuff at her, which there's a big difference in somebody being present in having sex and somebody just doing their best moves,
Yeah.
Because you're watching the depth of her breath. Like if you watch her stomach, her diaphragm sink and raise and sink and raise. If you got a girl and she's doing the Valsalvo effect, that's too much. If you're missionary style and the woman's hamstrings are pushing against your thigh, right? You're too deep.
Yeah.
If her hips relax and her hips fall backwards, she wants you to be deeper. The only way that you can learn these signals is by paying attention, being present, and watching what the response. And every woman is totally different. Now, don't get me wrong. The more experience you have, the more things you know, the more tools you have to be a great lover. But making love to one girl has absolutely nothing to do with making love to the other one. They're all very different. And so my point is but telling the truth, when you do lay the 5 bricks and you give an honest compliment, you have to pause. You gotta put your feet down on the ground. You gotta feel your feet on the ground, and you gotta observe, and you gotta be present. And that's the same principle that you use in great making love. That the position and then what happens is you're absorbing these external stimuli, right?
Yeah.
And it's controlling your movement as well. So it's not just, do you know what I mean? It's not just it's like you're making a soup. And every time you make that soup, should be made differently. It all has different ingredients, and the way when you put the meat in and when you don't put the meat in, excuse the terminology, and when you put the seasoning in, you know what I'm saying? And so
Yeah.
and when you're present in lovemaking, it's always good because it's interesting. Now, there's certain like let's say for instance, if you hate coriander, right? Let's say she hates coriander, and that's you learn that she doesn't like that, so you never put coriander in the soup. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
the more you sleep with her, the more you like what the likes are, what the likes aren't. Maybe she really likes garlic, and maybe she hates when she she doesn't like spicy foods. So you learn these things, and then what you're doing is every time you have sex with her, every time y'all are intimate together, you are compiling a sort of a profile of what she likes and what she doesn't
Sexual
like.
manifesto.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you're profiling a serial killer almost.
Yeah.
She likes this, she doesn't like this, she likes this, once she likes this sometimes. And you keep a mental a record of this because this is your woman and you want to make her happy. You want her to be
100%.
pleased. And so to not be present and to not take these things into consideration, you're just working, you're hustling backwards. Because this is going to be a problem. Whereas if the sex is good, I mean, don't get me wrong, you can't just live off of that. There's more to it than that, but that is at least a third of it is the sex. It's the sex, the intellectual
100%.
stimulation. It's also the intimacy, and all of those things are equally as important. And in order to have a great relationship, you got to fulfill all those needs. And some women are more sexual than others, and some women are not, and there's a whole thing. But I mean, you have to be present to understand that. So it's funny because if is your lady, is she jealous? Does she get jealous?
I would say I think one thing that she does is I've been very good. Dante, you definitely changed my life. I gotta give you the biggest props because I try to utilize everything I've ever learned from you.
Right.
So I make her feel really safe. But she hasn't dealt with the caliber of a man who follows Ace. Like most women haven't. So she still has these kind of these. For the most part, I never tore any walls down. I didn't. I mean, I tore the walls up, but not down.
Right.
And she kind of just got comfortable to where she got very comfortable with me. But she told me about how she had a dream about me talking to other girls, and then after she didn't. It wasn't that she got jealous. She just kind of
hold on.
Well,
I got a cash out from Nia to P. Thank you, brother. $20 on the cash out. Thank you, brother. Good. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're good. So not pure jealousy because she trusts me. She really doesn't inherently trust me. It's just a bad experience with other men. But I follow Ace, and and what I do is I won't because I have that trust. I won't ever do anything to lose it.
Right.
But she will say so she'll text me she'll do little stuff, and I'm pretty perceptive on it. And she'll be like, we'll talk about it. And she's like, oh, you want to sleep with them? And I'm like, no, hell no, that's not. You're not gonna make me say that.
Right.
I want you to have a good time. It really is about her.
Right.
The idea of it while we're talking about it makes her come. So I know it's something she wants, but what I don't want to do is, it's almost I would say a dude who agrees to have a threesome with his girl, and as soon as she moans when she gets it, his heart drops to the pit of his stomach.
Yeah.
It would just be the female equivalent. I don't want her to go through that, and then immediately everything that's been so amazing and so many
falls to pieces.
Just gets exactly. And now I'm not trusted or anything. So
right.
But she's just a human being, so I can't if I don't want it that bad to the effect of where I'll destroy such an amazing thing.
And I mean, I think that's a really mature thing. Now, here's a crazy thing. So my buddy's calling, and what he does is he says to me, he says, listen, he says, and I mean, he's a really progressive dude. He goes, listen, I understand with sexism that women have been marginalized, and he goes, and so it's hard. What's the line where you treating her like she's a child because of the fact that you can't just openly say what you actually think. And what he meant was like, look, she asked for the threesome, and he's absolutely right. And then she got mad at him for something that she asked. I've been there, right? She asked for it, and then when it happened, she was mad at me. I had a girl mad at me because she asked for it. She got the girl, and then it was my fault because somehow I was enjoying it. And what I've learned is that I would always deny. I was like, yeah, I'm never doing that. And then they would go, well, why? Why not? I say, because you're not emotionally capable of dealing with this, and I don't want to. I'm not willing. It's not worth it. And I don't want to spoil that. And I think that also, which is the absolute truth, but even though that is the truth, right? It gives them a sense of comfort because you're willing to turn it down. Because the minute you go, yeah, I would never do that, she could go, oh, good, thank you. I was just testing you anyway. Whatever it is, but this all goes to being righteous. You know what I mean? Like, this is just about being righteous. It's you're in a relationship with somebody you want to be with, who cares about you and wants to make you happy, and ultimately you want to make them happy. I mean, it really simplifies the whole thing if you really want to. It simplifies and makes your life easier. Now, if you don't want to be in a relationship, don't be in a relationship and go smash who you want. And then when somebody says, well, you go, look, this is not your business. This is not your business.
Yeah, as long as it's consensual, you're not hurting nobody.
Exactly.
Like, what's the issue?
And they might be hurt by your honesty, but you don't compromise your honesty. What's funny is he was like, women have, because of sexism and stuff, how do you not? I go, listen, you still have to understand that women and men operate differently. It's not. I think that if a woman goes, well, I don't like her, and what is she really communicating to you? Let's if we peel back the layers, she's saying, I really, really like you, and because I like you, I'm insecure. I'm afraid that if we do this, that it will change things, and maybe you might like this girl, or maybe I won't be as important to you. And that's what she's saying. And whether she realizes that subconsciously, she's communicating that, you have to be able to read between the lines and understand that. And so instead of doing that, he was like, yo, this is ridiculous. You and I was telling him, all she really wanted you to say was, listen, I love you. This is not important. None of this is important. And if you mentioned it, I'm not holding you to that. I don't even want to risk what we have is so good. I don't even want to risk that. And if he had said that, the whole thing would have calmed down. But instead of that, he was like, the audacity of her bringing this up and then get mad at me because of something that she brought up. You understand?
Yeah.
When all he had to do was
trying to test her intention.
Yeah, all he had to do was just reassure her that it wasn't, that she was important to him and stuff like that. So, but here's the other part. So he had this conversation with me, and then I said to him, listen, he goes, Doug, I don't care about, he says, you know me, I've been in plenty of threesomes. I really like this girl. She's really cool. I'm getting old. I'm in a relationship. The first time I've had a girlfriend. And I mean, the fact that he was even like, this is my girl, I didn't even, it shocked me, but I didn't even make a stink about it. But
yeah,
because what I really want to say, you got a girl. What is this? But what happened was, but I just, I didn't want to get off track. But I said, well, you have to call her and tell her exactly what you told me, that she matters to you, and that the fact he has his own parental issues. I mean, her parents are shit and abandoned her and stuff, and so she's used to being in control, and so and the fact that she's in love with him makes her feel out of control, out of where she doesn't have control over anything, which makes her insecure. And for him, his mother is passive aggressive, kind of ask questions that she don't want to know the answer, and then when you give her the answer, and so he's triggered. You know what I'm saying? He got problems too. Like, he's triggered by the fact that this is something he still has an estranged relationship with his mother because she's passive aggressive and manipulative and stuff. And this is a really manipulative sin. So I said, look, man, you just got to call her up and tell her. So he calls her up and he says, listen, he goes, you understand that I'm not mad at you because you don't want to have a threesome with this girl. And she goes, no, you this, that. She kept, she wouldn't let it go. And then I was like, well, then you gotta let it go. Because if you're being honest and if you're not lying and you're being honest, you can't be more honest than honest. If you're not lying, if you're not cheating, you can't cheat less. Do you understand what I mean?
Nope. Yeah.
And so sometimes you got to realize that somebody is broken. I said, but you got to understand something. The reason why she's freaking out, the reason why she even, you're even in this situation is because practicing ACE has affected her in ways that she's never been comfortable with. She's never experienced it, and it makes her feel insecure. And she doesn't want to lose you. So she'd rather sabotage the whole relationship than to live in that and kind of deal with her own bullshit. And
I definitely think that's a big thing for a lot of women.
Yeah. And then the other part of it that's crazy is he's also a guy, like when he's done, right? So I go, but you understand she's not gonna get over you because of what you said. There's so few people, so few men that operate with honesty and honesty and credibility and empathy and all of those things. Man, it's a situation where she's just not gonna find. I said, you understand she'll never get over you unless she meets me, and I'm not gonna date her because it's your girl, and so, I mean, this is the cross that you carry when you practice ACE, and when you're foolproof on it, 10 toes down all the time. This is what happens is sometimes it literally, if you have somebody who's broken, you sabotage your relationship by being too good for the relationship. And so, boom, it's just, and then, who knows if she'll ever get it. He, at the time she was supposed to come and see him, so he had sent her a plane ticket to come see him, and he was like, you know what, she didn't come, but he sent her the money for the plane ticket anyway. And so she texted him back, oh, you didn't have to send the whole ticket because I didn't come, and he didn't even respond. But this is the thing, this is the part of practicing ACE that I don't always talk about, because this is the dark side of it. It's that sometimes you elevate and you operate on a level that is so mature that you can't deal with people who are less mature. And
that's
it's
like that African
scary
cichlid fish thing, right?
Yes, absolutely. It's what we call brackish fish. If you have somebody who is accustomed to toxic relationships, and you're not willing to endeavor into that, if you're not willing to give that, right, because of your own credibility, then sometimes you just don't fit, and you got to move on. And if they're mature enough, they'll go. They'll say, "Look, having a little bit of this is more important than having none of it." And sometimes when they're young and they're immature, I don't care, and then they screw the pooch and screw it so it never, you can never come back. So I mean, it's just an interesting thing, but you got to understand that women definitely operate on a different wavelength, and you got to be able to read that. I understand it's a difficult thing to say. Well, I'm so dope. I get why she's insecure. I understand that seems very arrogant, but it is. We still got to. We got to, like, what's the first part of ACE is authenticity, is telling the truth.
Yeah.
And if that is the solution, if that is the actual reason, is that I'm so dope and she's not accustomed to a stand-up guy, then you got to say it, and you got to stand on it 10 toes down.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: so you don't think you're doing this threesome, right?
It depends. I think the max I think I'd have to do is she would literally have to take my my shit and put it in the girl's mouth. Like I literally not by force. She would have to do that. Like it would have to be a fully her thing.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But I don't know. Like if we're gonna do it, I'm gonna do it for her. Like for her to really
I got
the
you.
girl.
I got you. And understand something for that where you have to navigate that because you're trying to maintain your relationship in the context. It ain't gonna be no fun for you.
It'd be fun for me. For sure it would. No, I would enjoy that.
Yeah, okay. Maybe for the first one. I don't know if you've had how many you've had, but
0. So that's why.
Okay, there, yeah. Okay, so that, yeah. But what ultimately happens is you go, oh, this is not even worth the energy,
I can see. I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, after you do it so many times, you're like, all right, I'm just doing extra.
Yeah,
work.
because
right?
there's all this. You have to navigate this minefield every time you're. You know what I'm saying? And so any situation like that. If I haven't had anybody that said that to me, but at least not somebody who's so close to me that they would say that to me. I don't even think I'd be like, I'm good. Because I'm also not going to these boundaries, you know what I mean? Oh, you can't kiss her. Or you can't, I don't want you to, you can't have sex with her in missionary style. I don't want you. Yeah, I'm good. I mean, this is, I'm good. I'll just fuck you. It's fine.
Yeah. In that case, for sure. Like if you're trying to mix it up, like what's the point of doing a hybrid thing? Like, go all the way. Like
and this point, is it's funny. My boy Harry, his girl is she likes women, and she's like, well, you can't kiss her, and it's like, yeah, I'm good. We're good.
Yeah, I don't want it.
Yeah, this is not worth the time or the effort. It's just so that you can say you did. And I get it if you've never done it. You go, oh, wow, this is the thing. But it's really not, man. The best sex you'll ever have is the intimate sex between somebody who wants to please you and you want to please them. That's the absolute best
For
sex.
sure. Yeah,
so
100%.
Don't get me wrong. And if you have a threesome and you're in a situation where the girl is into the girl and both girls are into you and you're into both girls, that's that could be better. But that is so far and few between because the emotions are moving. They're moving, breathing things, man. But I appreciate you calling in, family. I really do.
For sure. Can I ask one more? Just a little question.
Sure.
So we talking about the toys. You ever heard of like the suction ones? Like those are like for anybody listening, like those are like game changers.
Yeah.
Because those don't overstimulate.
Yeah, the one that gets kind of, it's like a little goldfish that sucks on the clit.
Yeah.
And it builds it builds slowly. Like the intensity builds slowly. So it's supposed to be pretty good. But I mean, any toys you use, it can eventually desensitize you. So
especially if you have like the really buzzy ones, right?
Yeah. I mean, like Hitachi Magic Wand is the one that if you watch porno at any time, that they use that one all the time. Another thing, just since we're on it, some of the best lube I've ever seen is Pure, Pjure. It's a European lube. It's one of the lightest and the slipperiest lubes that you could possibly get. It's
Pjure.
Yeah, it's very expensive, but it's really good stuff, and it's not sticky and shit like that. So, since we on it, okay.
I appreciate it. That's some good game right there.
All right, brother. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you, Dante. Thank you for everything.
Later. Yeah, it's I give you a quick story. There was an ex of mine who we became friends. We were strictly platonic, and she sort of she basically tried to strong arm me into a relationship, and I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that, right? And so, but we became friends, right? And I taught her game. Like, so at the time, her husband, she married a guy who was much less attractive than her. And like, this is a guy she would never have talked to any other time. But she figured, look, she had two let me see. Yeah, she had two girls, and then she wanted to remarry. She married the guy, and he ended up she ended up having twins, the guy. And she really wasn't in, she liked him, but she really wasn't in love with him. But with time, she kind of fell in love with him. Naturally, because he was a less attractive kind of cornball dude. The minute he gained the upper hand and she really was into him, he started like they both worked at a school together, right? At the time, he was the basketball coach and she was like an assistant principal, and he started smashing all of the mothers on the basketball team, right? And then he had a chick that he was supposed to be his best friend, and he was smashing. And one day she calls me up in the middle, maybe not in the middle, in the afternoon, and she was on her way to a play with her mother, and she's crying. And she goes, this motherfucker keeps cheating on me, and such and such and such. And then this was the guy who she kind of married him because he was like a regular smuggler dude. And then once he got the upper hand, he showed that he was a douchebag, that he showed the douchebag kind of guy he was, and he started smashing everything that moved. And she called me up and she says to me, "Listen, I want to this. I'm tired of this. I want this to change." And I go, "Listen, I could tell you how to change this, right? But the minute I teach you how to change this, right, you are never going to respect this man again." And she was frantic, and I said to her, "Listen, this is what you do. Every day you go, every couple of days you go hang out with your girlfriends. Even if you're not hanging out with your girlfriends, you go out, you get all gussied up, put your 6-inch heels, you put your makeup on, you smell good, and you go out. Okay, see you later," right? Now he would be downstairs in the basement talking to all his girls and whatever, wilding out. All of a sudden he realized, "Hey, where you going? Where you think you're going?" "I'm just going to have a drink with the girls. See you later." And sure enough, after 2 or 3 times when she was all gussied up, he started asking questions. "Why you look so good? Why you look like that? Why you like?" So, but this is the immaturity of some real clown dudes. It's like you want what you can't have, and the things that you can have, you don't think it's worthy. You don't think it's worth anything because of the simple fact that anybody that likes you too much, there's something wrong with them. And sure enough, the guy, her husband, he started fighting and arguing. And then and I said, no matter what he does, don't fight. Don't argue back. Say, what is wrong with you? Just keep your calm. And he escalated the aggressiveness, where he started punching holes in the wall. And she would call me up one time and said she's afraid because he keeps punching holes in the wall. I go, yeah, he's full of shit. If this is all a show to regain control over the situation, and the fact that you're not emotionally falling a victim to that is what's driving him crazy. But here's the importance of the story. Once the guy showed that he was a simp, once he showed that just by her act, she wasn't even dating nobody else. She wasn't even cheating on him or anything like that. But just the simple fact that she started to show that she had her own life, and that she wasn't broken, and she wasn't sitting around waiting for him to basically give her validation. He lost his shit. And when he lost his shit, and she saw him in that position where he lost his shit, immediately she lost all respect for him. Lost all respect for him. Had no, just instantly the jealousy that she was feeling about him cheating and all that didn't matter, because he just showed that he was a punk. Like, he really wasn't that dude. He was a scared little dude who had low self-esteem, was insecure because he wasn't that attractive, and he never he got the hot girl. When he got the hot girl, he took it for granted and abused her and so on and so forth. And then the minute she saw him show weakness, the fact that he was punching walls and getting angry and all kinds of stuff, she lost respect for him. And just like I said, the marriage went to shit. And to this day, he's remarried, but he's still chasing her, and he's still, why don't we get back together? And it's like she feels nothing for him because he has shown himself to be so weak that she'll never find him attractive. So anytime you hear this situation where you hear women say, you need to be vulnerable, you need to be, I'm not going to say that women don't want to hear what you really think and don't want you to be vulnerable, but not too much. You can be you can show vulnerability, but you better not show weakness, because the minute and I believe this happens on a genetic level. The fact that you show weakness makes her feel as though she cannot feel safe with you. Makes her feel that she can't trust you. Because if you can't maintain the composure, you got to understand something. You got to be, as a man, you got to be willing to, you got to be indifferent about the surroundings. You got to be somebody who is not emotional, is not flip-flopping from one side to the other. You got to show consistency. You got to show indifference. You have to show intentional, that the actions that you take are intentional. And when you do that, women will always respect you, even if you're not with them, and they're still, and maybe it's too much water under the bridge for y'all to be back together. They will never forget you, because it's just like what you was saying, that when you practice ACE, when you are telling the truth, when you are credible, when you are empathetic, there's so few people that even practice that. And because they don't practice it, that is the definition of supply and demand. It's the scarcity of the product. You are the product. The scarcity of the product makes you valuable. And sure, when a woman is 22 years old and she's at the top of her heap, and she's most attractive and youthful, and her womb is fresh, still got those little silicone packages in her uterus because it still smells like plastic, she's on top of the world. But that changes. And the depth of what women think are important as they mature, the subtle things, the ridiculous things that they find attractive, the superficial things, the hot cars, the planes, the this, the that, and none of that matters. We see this all the time, where a guy is, got a girl because he was famous. And then, look, I've talked about this 100 times. Just look at Will Smith. Look at Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp had a chick who shitted on his pillow. So, we talking about Captain Jack Captain Jack from the Pirates of the Caribbean. He literally had had his wife squat over his pillow and shit on his pillow. So you got to understand something. There has to be, what this should tell us is that there's more to this game than it appears to be. It is about character. It is about what you do, not who you are. And when we understand that, we see this over and over again. People who are supposed to be Captain Flapjack, these things that we idolize as men, and we want all the Bentley all of that don't matter. I'm not gonna say it doesn't matter, because everything matters. Having a six-pack matters. Being tall matters. Being handsome matters. Having a job matters. All of those things matter. But none of those things are single-handedly more important than character. Phone lines are open, y'all. 929. I've been running my mouth because I wanted to get this out. And that call was perfect for the thing. 929-269-4922. Call in. Anything going on, call in. Anything not going on, if you just want to say, yo, what's up, that's fine. I love hearing from the regulars. I don't hear from y'all enough. Y'all be in the comments heavy, but then don't call. The number's up, 929-269-4922. That's what I'm talking about. Let's see. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, this is Jared from Long Beach, California.
What's up, Jerry? What's going on? How can I help you, brother?
Oh no, you helped me. You've helped me so much, man. I just want to attest to like everything you're saying, dude, because like I've been listening to you for like since like 2015, something like that.
Really? Okay.
But yeah, dude, like I was dropping bricks during COVID.
Okay.
6 weeks.
Wow.
And I got it's like, it's you gotta. It's a game changer. I'm just gonna tell you this. It's like
yeah.
That first like kind of bump you get, I mean, like you're kind of anxious and like whatever, but like when you realize that women, like when you see like a woman who tries or just see someone who they might be having a bad day, whatever, it's like take away the transaction and it's like, you know what, I'm just gonna give you this, because it's true to me, so I need to make sure it's true for you, and like you're standing out in some way or whatever.
Right.
Like I looked up different ways of like details and things like that helped me a lot of just like, hey, like knowing between, jaguar and cheetah or whatever. And like, nails, things like that. It's just,
it's a game changer, but there's a fundamental reason behind it. Right. And the reason is because, how should I, but like if you have a woman and she's a model, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody tells us she's beautiful every day, right?
Yeah.
And why is she beautiful? She's beautiful because what? Because her mother and father were attractive.
She didn't have to do anything.
Right.
Yeah.
She didn't have to do anything to earn that. I was talking to one of my clients today, and I was saying how in the gym I would and this is a little more advanced, but I'll explain. I complimented this woman's back. Like, she had the sports bra and she had her back. Mm-hmm. It was crazy. And I've always found it sexy, a muscular back. Is that like what I call the Angela? I'm showing my age, but the Angela Bassett back, right? Yeah. And I've always found that very sexy, like a very fit, muscular back. And I complimented this girl's back, and she just melted because of it. And the reason why, and I often say, never compliment someone physically about, not sexual or physical. But what the difference in that situation is, there's no way a woman can have a muscular back unless she works on it. So What does that mean? That means she's eating wheatgrass and kale salads. That means she's showing up at the gym every day. She's doing her cardio. She's watching her. And so when I compliment her back, what I'm really complimenting is her discipline, her fortitude, her tenacity. And
especially, if you're in like the environment like the gym where it's just like, hey, like, and I'm sure your intention was, hey, like, you got results, you're doing your thing.
Exactly. Now, I mean, you could do that. You could do that outside of the gym as well, because if, what is a woman who's got has an awesome back? She's probably not going to be wearing a sweatshirt. Yeah. She's going to wear something with her back out because she's proud of it. And the fact that you're acknowledging something that is innately true, right? It's, when you give her the compliment, she's going, well, how true is this compliment?
But if you're that specific too, it's just, you're separate from everyone else.
Right. And it's also, like, it also rings true. So what you're doing is, there's so much to that. Your first thing you're doing is by recognizing you're also basically, if you read between the lines, you're saying, listen, I'm a gym rat too. I'm
Yeah.
in the gym too. I acknowledge this. This is something that I find attractive. I'm also aware of what this takes between what this takes to achieve that. Especially when women have a higher estrogen level, for them to be more muscular means they really got to work harder because women carry more fat than men have. I'm also saying I'm recognizing the fact. I might even say your traps. So I may even give a specific muscle group that I like. And so what I'm communicating, the subtext of what I'm communicating is that I am aware of what you do. I am familiar with what you do. We are also have something in common when it comes to this. And I recognize what it takes for you to achieve that goal.
Yeah, you're paying attention. You're present. It's not like a construction worker. You just like do some random cat call for some kind of reaction.
Nice tits, bro. Yeah, it's just not. It's so.
Yeah. Like if I can't think of anything, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut and just
right.
But, when I learned that,
when it rings true, right?
Yeah.
It first thing it says that you're honest. Second thing it says that you're present. Now let me tell you, I just gave a whole rundown on what constitutes great sex, especially oral sex, that you got to pay attention.
Yep.
But if you are not paying attention in life, the chances are you're not paying attention when you go down on somebody.
And that's, because it goes with everything. Like Ace goes with everything. Where it's just like when because when I'm me, when I say what's on my mind, when when I'm honest and I don't lie, and it's like, this is what I want, or do I want this? No? All right, cool. We're good. Like the most recent women I've been with, they don't know each other, whatever. The most common thing they've said was like, the most attractive thing about you is your honesty.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have to guess what's on your mind. I don't, you say what's on your mind, and, they feel safe. And, even when I've broken up with them, saying, hey, you know what? Like, I got that feeling, I always say, it's kind of like we put a seed in soil, we put water on it, we watch it grow, like nothing grew. So it's, you could.
I used to say, if you remember back in the days, I used to say, you feeling a tingle in your nuts, chances are you're getting ready to get kicked in the balls. Right. It's just, but you know this. You know this. What happens is you're being dishonest, you're being insecure, and so you're looking for validation for other people. And the problem,
because
the biggest problem is when you look for validation from people. It's great when they think you're dope, but when they think you ain't shit, you ain't shit. And
exactly. Yeah. You said something where it's like, I think you said this, where it's like, you kind of have to like put yourself in, like make yourself your own character in someone else's story. Also, they're gonna give you a role. And
and you have to scrutinize yourself. So when you ain't being the best you, because you're this is when you're least confident. You're least confident when you don't know.
I'm not laying bricks. Or, when I'm not, when I'm not showing up, when I'm doing, I'm not doing my workouts or whatever, I feel funky.
Yeah.
But the only way to get out of it is I gotta get back to it. And like, even like when I'm saying, the girls who like, I broke up with them, like saying, hey, I'm not feeling this. They would call me back and be like, hey, can we do something? Can we maybe try again? I'm like, why? And then they're like, well, I haven't met I haven't met anyone else like you, like who's honest, like, and that's so. And just being it just spread beyond women too. Just it's like, I got like a job recently where like they just skipped a second interview because they were like, because I came in going like, this is what I do, like this is we can,
and people can tell when
you're
you're happy, when you're honest about it. I mean, don't get me wrong, all the other prejudice and all the other things that could, but listen, you got to understand, when you go for a job, people are hiring you because they want you to do the job. And if you don't do the job, right? If you don't, if they find out later you're full of shit, what don't come out in the wash comes out in the rinse. And so you gotta, like, you're walking into a situation knowing that you're not ready and that you're not and you're waiting to be exposed. You're waiting for the mask to come off. And the minute that you're waiting, because you have what do they call it? Imposter syndrome, because you're waiting for somebody to realize that you're not really who you say you are. And that comes through in everything you do.
Yeah.
The way you walk, the way you talk, the cadence of your voice, the tempo of your voice, the way you project.
But also, yeah, when you do the work, it's the same thing too, where it's like,
Yeah.
I don't have to worry. It's like, if they don't take me, that's their problem. That's their loss. Whatever,
Right,
like,
because it is their loss. Because somebody else is going to come in and fool them, come in with the all the hoopla, and then it's going to fall apart.
Yeah. Come in, just know my value, and just be like, hey, this is me. This is what I do. Like, if it's kind of like if Michael Jordan wants to be a high school basketball coach, he doesn't need a resume. Just give him. He
Right.
has to hand him his card.
He just got to say,
that's my
"Yo, I want to coach. I want to come here and coach." And they go, "Okay, I guess whoever's there
like,
is
what's
fired."
your experience? You just these rings,
Yeah,
like,
yeah. So
but,
you're right. It is interesting, and it becomes, and there's a certain comfort that comes with the fact that you are irreplaceable.
Yeah, and it's like, I'll say this. I've been doing like, I'm 38, so I've been doing like personal health, everything probably since I was 20, since like I graduated from college.
Right.
College, I had fun, it was great, but when you get that kind of postgraduate, whatever, I was to the point where like, I would put my hand to the door to go outside, and I'd be like, there's nothing out there for me. There's nothing out there. But then that's when I was like, I got to change something.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
All the things I've learned and everything, all the other books I've read and things like, you just took it with Ace, and that's the blueprint. That's the
well, because it's a crystallized form. It's like all of the stuff that I've learned, all the mistakes that I've made, all of the and I made plenty of mistakes. There's nothing that somebody hasn't called up and said, I have this problem, that I haven't done the same dumb shit.
And you're gonna make mistakes, and you're gonna I get a ton of I've done so many mistakes, and but I'm still here. Like, no one bit my head off. Nothing.
You gotta.
I don't, like, when I get rejected now, I don't even think of it as a rejection. It's just like, oh, okay, they're not interested. Cool.
Yeah, or they're not. A lot of times they're just not. They're not smart enough to know that they're fucking up.
Yeah, or they're not in the space, or
Yeah. I mean, you don't even speak of it like this. It's funny because some in the comments, Ahmed said, "What's the difference between vulnerability and weakness?" Vulnerability shows that you can make mistakes, and that you can be empathetic, and that you can make mistakes. Weakness is when you allow those things, that you allow your vulnerability to control you. It's the thing where you start to feel where your counterpart or your significant other doesn't believe that you have what it takes to lead anymore.
But yeah, even like, yeah.
And when I say lead, I mean leading is I don't know any other word to use it, but that doesn't necessarily mean you got to run the show, you got to be a tyrant, but you have to still have your conviction. And just because you have vulnerabilities doesn't mean, like, I used to say this all the time. Look, I love you, but I don't give a fuck about you. What I mean by that is, like, I love you, but if you think you're going to be disrespectful, if you think that my love is unconditional, that I'm not going to require something of you, then you are mistaken, because I will love you from afar.
And that's being vulnerable and strong, like, because I've had those conversations too, where it's like, especially like when you're trying to change yourself and get better, people who are just used to you being like a doormat or a pushover, whatever,
right?
When they see you, kind of, stand 10 toes down, they're going to start pushing, you're going to get a lot of friction and resistance or whatever.
Yeah.
But part of being that vulnerableness is like, hey, no, you know what? This is me. Like, I don't like that. And we don't have to,
we don't ever have to speak again.
Yeah.
We could do that.
Because sometimes too, that's when you need to cut people out of your life. It's just like, all right, you know what? Like, I'm going in a completely different direction.
Yeah.
I can't have.
And that's really the healthy place to be when you're what's really interesting about you're at that next level where you're talking about what that you're not spending all this time on what somebody else thinks or does. It just doesn't matter. It all becomes a thing where it's just like, yeah, I get it. Yeah,
But what happens too is,
but I honestly believe it's when it is that I'm going, look, like we could end this relationship yesterday.
Yeah.
And I will replace you. And that doesn't necessarily mean that doesn't necessarily mean that you don't bring value to me and that I don't care. The point is that on a base level, you your respect for me is of the highest. I demand the respect of me above all else. Nothing else is more important.
Yeah.
So
it's you too, because sometimes it's like you can like the person, you love the person, but you compromise your own integrity having them in your life, and it's like, you know what, like you're weighing me down, you're slowing me up, and I can't afford to spend any more time and energy.
I will give you really really simple analogies. Like in the course of me being a union rep, right? I sent plenty of dudes into rehab. And they love drugs, but just because you love drugs don't mean they're good for you,
Mm-hmm.
So you have to what you have to maintain is a certain level of respect and a certain self-respect and confidence about yourself and what your value is, and you don't want to descend into somebody who you can't look in the mirror and feel comfortable about seeing. So it's man, I appreciate you calling in, man. Thanks for calling in, bro. I appreciate
thank you so much.
That was dope. That was real dope.
All right, bye.
Phone lines open 929-269-4922. We an hour in already. I don't want to stay on too long because I got to get up early in the morning. Got some stuff to do to take care of, and but I will take one more call 929-269-4922. I'm really pleased with the fact that conceptually, a lot of guys are starting to understand the concepts. It's I've been repeating them over and over again and putting them in a position where, because that's what has to happen. When the crisis happens or things go left, what I really want you to do is I want you to hear me in the back of your voice, in the back of your head. I want you to hear ACE. I want you to hear authenticity, credibility, empathy. What am I? I want you to hear RFF, reasonable, fair, and firm. I want y'all to hear words like when I talk about subtext, what is being communicated, what's underneath this. And just because of the fact that somebody is not out and out verbally saying something, what is really going on? How often have we heard somebody call in and say, hey, she likes she said she didn't want to talk to me, but she likes my Instagram. Yeah. And how many times have you heard me say, I don't care. Social media is a buffer from which she can gain attention from men without any real commitment. She's literally farting in your face, because she can play this game of whether or not I'm interested, I'm not interested, and there be no real, and it doesn't cost her anything. And then she can just close the app and move on and leave you in limbo. So if that is the case, if women can do that, and you're going to be emotionally attached to that, because why? And why? Let's be honest. Why are you emotionally attached to those things? You're emotionally attached because what? Because you don't have any options. You have not done the best for yourself. You are still in a situation where you're too lazy. You're too afraid. If you're not too lazy, then you're too afraid. If you're not that, then you're both. Or you're unkind, or you're not a righteous person, or you're a liar, or you don't keep your word, or you don't understand that other people are going through things that you don't understand. I always say it's just like, it's the same way men think about a woman's period. That's how they think about it's like, yeah, it's bad, but how bad could it be? You have no idea. You have no idea what that feels like. So have the empathy to understand that somebody's going through something that you have not gone through, and when you have that empathy, I think people are less hostile because people want to be seen. I haven't told this story, but a long time ago, I remember going out on a date, and there was this old school Italian lady. She had the bouffant bumblebee haircut, and she was like Italian. Her mustache was almost as thick as mine. And I was on a date, and I go, "Hey, what's your name?" And she goes, "Oh, my name's Sylvia." And I go, "Oh, it's good to meet you." I introduced myself, and I introduced my date. And she goes, "Excuse me for a minute." And she walks away. She comes back with tears in her eyes, and she goes, I've been working here for 23 years. She goes, "Nobody has ever asked me my name and introduced themselves to me." So this woman is 23 years working there. I mean, she was not the most attractive woman. Clearly, she had a mustache and a beard, right? She had a hairstyle from 1970, right? But just the simple fact that I saw her, that I recognized, that I spoke out loud, and I see you as a human being, affected in ways that it literally brought her to tears. And I never forget that, because it goes to show you how many guys I know that call in and listen to the content, and they don't feel seen. They don't feel important. And you can be, but you can be important based on what you do, not what you are, not who you are, what you do. Your content, what you do, how you live your life every day. That's really important. Man, we've been on for an hour and change. I'm gonna shut this down, man. I appreciate y'all. I want y'all to understand, though. I'm making a promise to y'all from this point on that I'm going to be as consistent with the lives as I possibly can. Don't forget, if you got something going on, y'all know how to get me. Book a session, one-on-one consultation, DanteNero.com. Click on consult. You'll know how to get me. Don't forget the Patreon. It's really, if you want to help us support and just have like a monthly thing, if y'all can sign up for the Patreon, it's www.patreon.com/manschool202. And where you get the bonus content and you have an email directly to me. Also, keep in mind, from this point on, the Patreon episodes will be directed by the Patreon people. So if there's something specifically that you want to talk about, you can email me. Once you become a Patreon member, you can sign up. You can send me an email, and I will do a show on what you have questions about. So I'm really going to work on that this year. And please, man. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, take this stuff and share it with other people, share the lives. I'm going to be doing a lot more editing, and I'm going to take the phone calls and cut them up into small pieces. Please share them with people. I think that would be the biggest thing that you could do. I want to get to this year. I want to get to 100,000. I want to get to 100,000 followers on the YouTube page. On the Man School 202 YouTube page. I really want to, I want $100,000 subscriber plaque. And the only way I can do that is through y'all. Yeah, that's about it. I know we can do it. I got y'all. Y'all loyal as fuck. So, and you almost have to be. So, GYBD, get your balls back. WWDD, what would Dante do? Sexual Revolutions be a podcast. So, yo, I love y'all. I will see you Tuesday. We're going live Tuesday, so whatever's on your mind, stay well. Don't forget the consultations. Man, I love y'all, man. Peace. We out of here.